Hello everyone, my name is Raquel Henson and I want to share something deeply personal with you. This isn't just a fitness journey, it's a story about how fitness saved my life. I was once trapped in a dark cycle of crime, drugs, prison, and battling my mental health. My life felt like it had no purpose, no direction. But then I found the gym. It gave me discipline, focus, and a reason to believe in myself again. This is my journey, from being a drug dealer to reclaiming my life through fitness. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is where I grew up in my childhood, like my younger days. And yeah, this park just used to have, I think it used to have a one swing. I don't even know if it used to have a slide. I think it was just one swing. And mainly, it had a slide. Okay, so it had a slide. But I remember people used to bring their dogs there to chew up the seat of the swing. That's one thing I know that this park was used for, was for people to bring their dogs here to chew the seat on the swing. But no kids really used to use that park. Very rarely. As you can see, it's like a dog park now. They've actually fixed it up. They put a nice little stone, a table. It looks quite nice actually, to be fair. It looks quite nice. They fixed it up. But I'd never used to know that park to be a nice park. It was a dark park. And yeah, at the back is Wilsden Junction train station. If any of you guys know. This road's Tubbs Road. Sure, that's the same gate as when I grew up. So rusty. I grew up in northwest London, Brent. I was raised in and around Brent. Lived in Harrow for a little bit. My mum was a single parent, so I grew up with no father figure. And I think that's something, looking back as well, I think that's something that I kind of lacked, father figure, because I always wanted my dad around. Yeah, I think that had an impact on me growing up as well, and what I did and the path I went on, having no father figure. But one thing that was good about when I grew up, in school, I liked playing sports a lot, and I was involved in quite a lot of sports growing up. I played volleyball, and I actually played for my borough, for Brent, in the London Youth Games, I think twice. I was also good at athletics. I was very fast, and I could have had a good career in athletics. I could have been in the Olympics, I reckon, if I carried on. I was very fast. And I remember my fastest time for 100 meters. It was 12.67 seconds. That's something that I was proud of, being very fast. But I didn't carry on with the sports, didn't carry on with athletics, and went down the wrong path growing up. Yeah, this is one of the roads that I grew up on. It's actually a house that I grew up in as a young child. And I have a memory of this road, something that happened. I think one of the houses opposite, I was young, I was probably about 5, 6. And one of these houses, I remember there was a family in the house. I don't know if it was in there at the time, but I know the house caught fire. Sure, it was this one. Because out of all of them, that's got like the newest bricks. But the whole house caught fire. And I remember as a kid, I was outside of that window watching the fire. Like, I was literally watching the house burn as a child. That's a memory that I always remember about this road. It happened when I was a child. Yeah, this road. I used to stay at my nan's on a weekend and help her with her car boot sale. I used to play my granddad's computer games as a child growing up. I stayed at my nan's, and I remember one time my granddad, for his work, he used to go abroad and fix computers. And I'll never forget, he left from here. No, he didn't leave from here. So I left my nan's, and I ended up coming back here. And my nan dropped my mum and me off here. And I ran back up the road looking for my granddad. And that's another memory that I've got around here as well. I've told a few people that are close to me. Like, I remember running to my granddad. I used to stay with my nan and my granddad a lot on the weekends. And I was close with my granddad because he used to play computer games, teach me some things. You know, granddad, um, that was kind of my father figure, to be fair, my granddad, if anything. But he used to teach me some things, play some computer games, strategic games as well, that I would like to play till today. Even I like those games till today, those sort of strategic games. He taught me to play chess. So that's memories that I have of growing up in Northwest in Brent. So yeah, right now we're in an area called Alperton, which is in Wembley, in Brent, in the borough of Brent. And the reason I've come here is because looking back on my life, on my journey, I feel like this was a really big turning point in my life. Where we are now is Abbey Estate in Alperton. It's a small estate. It's literally like 6 or 7 roads maybe, and it's one way in, one way out. It's a very small estate, square shaped, and this is where I started to get involved in like little silly petty crime, I would call it, like theft from the shops, antisocial behaviour, chilling outside, causing trouble, knockdown ginger. And this is where I started to kind of play out as a child with people, well, not as a child, as a young teenager, still a child, but this is where I started to kind of play out. My friends used to knock for me and I used to come outside, and I used to be out all day, coming home late, my mum would tell me off. So it's where I started to kind of rebel as a child, started to do bad stuff, fully stopped kind of concentrating in school, started smoking weed, staying out late and stuff. So this is where it kind of evolved from. This estate here was a big turning point when we moved here, for me and for my mum and my family, because she had to kind of go through it too. Imagine growing up, having a son as a single mother, along with other kids. I've got 2 sisters and a brother. So trying to bring up other children as a single mum, and then you've got one child that's just kind of rebelling and not listening and misbehaving himself and getting in trouble, getting arrested. She used to have to come and kind of go to like police interviews, and be an appropriate adult because I was so young, getting arrested. Imagine that late at night, you're getting a phone call or a knock on the door, your son's been arrested or for something, just misbehaving on the streets. So as a mum, it must have been like hard for her as well to kind of go through that and manage that. As a young single parent, it must have been hard for her as well. You know what I mean? As much as it's impacted me in my life, it must have impacted her and my siblings as well. So this is also something to remember and to consider when you might be thinking about going down this road, or you might be thinking about doing bad stuff. You have to remember who it impacts as well. Victims, families, your family, your brothers, your sisters. Yeah, and this is speaking about like family and stuff. This is where my relationship with like my nan started to kind of break down, because she didn't know this person. You know what I mean? She knew me as little Raquel going to the car boot sale and staying over hers on the weekend. So breakdown in family started to happen from this point when I moved to Alperton, Abbey Estate. So that's why I've kind of come around here, because it's a memory, and it was a major turning point in my journey, that led me down that road. And then that's when I moved on from there to kind of end up in Stonebridge, end up in Labatt Grove. This is where it stems from. This was I would say, the root cause of really leading me astray and going down the road of crime and drug dealing and taking drugs and being a bad person. So this is where it stems from, Abbey Estate. And obviously when I got kicked out of school, one of the schools I went to, was in the local area. So Preston Manor was in Wembley. But before I went Preston Manor, I went to an all-boys school, Salvatorian College, and that was in Harrow. I got kicked out of there quite early. Like I said, my time in school was quite troublesome, so I got in quite a bit of trouble. But yeah, I moved to a school in the local area around here, Preston Manor. Unfortunately, I didn't last long in the school. I mean, went to another pupil referral unit. I didn't really finish mainstream secondary school. That's because I was around here being influenced by people that were actually doing bad stuff, and they became my friends, and I went down the wrong road. So yeah. So yeah, my life, like, as a drug dealer, like properly selling drugs, really started around here, to be honest, in Stonebridge. And how I kind of ended up here, a little backstory was, when I got kicked out of school, I managed to kind of get back into another mainstream school by year 9. And one of my good close friends back in the days, he lived around here, so I was around here a lot, with him. He used to chill, cause a little bit of trouble. And yeah, by then I was kind of smoking weed. I was out, not really doing much in my life. Didn't go college. Um, didn't really do nothing. And then yeah, I started selling a bit of weed at first. At the time, I didn't really think it was anything. Most of the people I was selling to were like my friends. And then as the years went by, I progressed into selling Class A drugs, and that's when I first went to prison. I actually caught my first case for drugs. I think it was about 2013, July. I was around here, had drugs with me, got caught, ended up going to prison a year later, and that's when I first went to prison. I got 3 years imprisonment and 18 months. And whilst I was in prison, I did go through a few stressful things. But looking back, I think that was because of the time I had. It was quite a long time. I had a lot of time to reflect. But to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. I just came out and done the same thing. I was released in 2016, and I went back and I done the same thing. Didn't really last long. I think it was about 90 days later. Look at this little cat. You know, I think this could be my brethren's cat. You know, I'm not even joking. The guy used to chill around here. He's got loads of animals and stuff. Cat could remember me. That's mad. That's mad. I know. I swear this cat knows me, you know. This cat, listen, the cat ran over from there. I'm not gonna point it out, yeah, but my boy's mum, my guy, yeah, that I used to chill with, the one I'm talking about, his mum lives close by, and I swear he's got a cat like this. I swear to you, no word of a lie. I swear he's got a cat like this, you know. But it was small when I knew it. I swear down, no word of a lie. Cat knows me, man. That's mad. Whoa, that's mad, you know. But yeah, Stonebridge was an area I was doing some crime in, and like I said, went to jail, came out. 90 days later, I was back inside prison, and that was kind of when that prison sentence that I got from that was when I kind of hit rock bottom. And I went through some things which we're going to talk about a bit later. I went through some things in prison, so yeah. Yeah, man, this is where some of the things happen, some memories. So yeah, this is Westbourne Park Road, um, where a lot of drug dealing used to happen. And one time I remember, it was actually quite a scary story as well. Not scary, but I was scared at the time. And I nearly lost my life. I could have lost my life when I was out here late. Basically, I saw like a customer, and they were looking past me, like not looking directly at me. They was looking past me, and I looked behind me, and I saw a group of boys. And one thing I was scared of is that I know that these roads are quite long. So if you look up that road, running up that road, it doesn't really lead to nowhere. It's like the main road's far, the roads are quite long. And I remember thinking, if I don't make it up these roads, I'm probably gonna lose my life. Because these roads are very long. And late at night, like I said, nothing's really going on. It wasn't too late actually, but luckily a car stopped. Two girls were in the car in a taxi, and they let me in, and I was lucky enough to escape. And that's something that I always remember when I come around here. And it happened literally right here. And yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Whilst even planning this whole thing about taking you back through my journey, I've had a few sleepless nights and nightmares where I've remembered certain things, and that's me being genuinely honest with you guys. Like, whilst I've been planning this, I've had two nightmares since, like going back on things, remembering things. So that's how much of an impact this sort of life can have on you. Even so many years where I've not done this sort of stuff, even after going back, it still kind of has an effect. So this life that people live and the life that I once lived, it's not easy, and it comes with its consequences, and it comes with its side effects and long-term effects. And I personally didn't even think that would happen. It was just one of those things that happened, and I was like, wow, imagine that. I'm not living that life, but I'm going back over it, and something that happened many years ago. This happened many years ago, at least 10 plus years ago, and it still has an effect. You know what I mean? So in 2013, crime caught up with me, and I got arrested. I caught a case for intent to supply, and I ended up coming to prison. Um, I got 3 years. I done half of my sentence, and throughout prison, I basically just kept my head down. The first time I went, when I had my so the first time I had my long sentence, I kind of kept my head down. I didn't really work on myself. I did go through a little bit of depression and anxiety, but I believe at the time it was basically because it was a long time. It was one of my first long sentences, and I came out. And I'll be honest with you, I went back to pretty much doing the same things that I had originally got arrested for, and I ended up going back into prison 90 days later, and I found myself facing another 3 year sentence. And this is when I really hit rock bottom. I was facing I was going through signs of depression, anxiety. I was also having like suicidal thoughts. I was at a really low point in my life, and I was feeling down, and this was because of the roads and going to jail and not seeing family, the stress. It kind of really got to me, and this is where my big turning point one my big turning point was, and I had to work on myself whilst I was in jail. This is where my transition really started from prison. I started working on myself. I ended up getting jobs in prison. I started to do mentoring. I even became a mentor myself, and I was working with a mentor, and she really invested in me. Um, I went through and done a lot of courses, worked on myself, doing these courses, and whilst I was in there, I've kind of found gym as a way to de-stress and take my mind away from things. And this is where I started to really fall in love with fitness and working out and using gym as a go-to for like my mental health. So this is where I started to put on size and I started to see the benefits and the good stuff about going gym, and I started to feel better with myself. And then I came out of prison, and slowly but surely it was hard at first. I'm not gonna lie, like things that I think about that was hard was like not having any friends around or not talking to a lot of people, but I managed to kind of move away from Northwest, so I moved to South London, and the area I moved to was nice and it was calm. It was much different to like Northwest London, where it's a big difference. You know what I mean? Like Northwest London to where I'm living in South London is a big difference. It's more calmer, it's quieter. Um, so this was a good environment for me to really change, and I started working. One of my first jobs was actually in a bread factory in like the ovens department, and I remember my first pay. I couldn't believe that for like 300 and something pounds you just get paid for dealing with some bread in the ovens department. So these were positive things for me back then, and that's what kind of shaped me into the person I am today. And like I said, it wasn't easy. It was a long process and still a working process where I'm bettering myself every day, no matter what I do. And that's the message I want to show people, that fitness, and that's what I mean. A lot of it came from fitness because this is what I kept on doing when I came back outside. I kept on going to the gym. At first, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of winging it in the gym, like a beginner, and that was fine. You know what I mean? Because I kept going. Then there was a point where I said I need some sort of goal. Funny enough, my goal was to like get a six pack, and I ended up doing that. So this was a part of my journey. Just going through gym, using gym, and then like I said, I was working as well. So it created a good stability financially, mentally. I had more structure to my life. I had more security, and I knew to myself I wasn't going down that road again. Then because I loved gym so much and fitness and being around and inside the gym, I thought, why not become a personal trainer? So I took my course, done my course. It was difficult, I'm not gonna lie, and I passed. And now I'm a qualified level 3 personal trainer. And as you can see, I'm trying to do some online coaching as well. So hit me up if you need any sort of help with stuff. But yeah, that's my journey with how I've kind of changed my life and my transition. It wasn't easy, and a lot of people do find it hard to get out of. And this is why I believe fitness is such a great thing, and working out, even if it's just to feel good, it was such a game changer for me. So this is the message I want to show people, and that's my journey. That's that's been my journey, guys. Well, that's been my journey, guys. And today, I'm a completely different person with a new mindset and a better outlook on my life. I'm closer to my family, I've built stronger, healthier relationships, and I've learned that fitness didn't just change my body, it transformed my mind, my perspective, and my entire life. I've been able to help others and show that no matter how far you've fallen, there's always a way back up. I'm still on my journey and I'm not perfect, but I know I'll never go back to the person I was. If you're watching this and you feel stuck, lost, or like you can't change, let me tell you, you 100% can. It's never too late to reset, rewrite your story, and build the life you truly want. I know because I've been there. The life I used to live wasn't glamorous, and it cost me my friends, family, and years of my life. I've seen things and been through things that I wouldn't wish on anyone. but I made a choice. I worked hard to changing and planning a new path. Fitness was my way out. It gave me purpose, structure, and strength to push forward. But your way doesn't have to look like mine. Find your purpose and go get it with everything you have. I'm here to prove that no matter how far you've fallen, you can always rise again. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. If it resonates with you, or if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. And together, we can transform struggles into strength, challenges into growth, and stories into powerful sources of inspiration for others. So let's keep moving forward, one step at a time. My name is Raquel Henson, and I'm a personal trainer and online coach. And I've turned my struggles into strength, and now I'm here to help others do the same. Like, share, comment and subscribe, and follow me further on my journey.